Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video. Had some stuff going on yesterday, so I couldn't get to this at the time, just had to do my article about it. But I wanted to go through the new Lightfall weapons and gear trailer and talk about it a little bit. This is the exotics trailer that they release usually before every expansion. Doesn't usually include all of the exotics, there might be some missing here, but it's certainly the majority, I think. And let's talk about it. I don't know if there's a better way to do this than just playing the YouTube video and pausing it and talking about it, but or if this is like legal, but I probably should have done some more research. But I think this is fine. So I'm just going to play it and then talk about the different things that come up here. Is there blood in Destiny, by the way? It's a teen for blood and violence. I don't think I've ever seen blood in Destiny. Okay, so we've seen these armor sets already. They're showing off some of the weapons already. And, okay, we are starting with the sidearm. This, I don't remember what it's called. It's about to show me. The final warning with charge tracking rounds. So this is, okay, so this is a strand sidearm. I'm assuming strand weapons are in the top slot like stasis. What this appears to be is some version of the Titanfall Smart Pistol. Maybe not to that extent, because the Smart Pistol didn't like require you to do charge up shots to have tracking rounds, but this does seem similar to that in some ways in terms of kind of auto seeking out targets. Can't tell if that will be deeply annoying in Crucible or not, or if it's mostly for PvE as it's being demonstrated here. Usually I feel like they show off things they think are going to be PvP in PvP and the things they think are going to be PvE in PvE, but we'll see. This does not appear to trigger strand keywords, at least we don't have any indication of that now. A lot of these other ones, they do kind of trigger some of these strand verbs or use some of the new strand mechanics. We actually learned a good about strand here itself, because we have not gotten like the big strand breakdown of like how it works yet. I assume that is coming. Now that I'm thinking about it, they might release another one of those big blog posts today, because they've been doing that on Wednesdays. But obviously in the next few weeks here, we are 4 weeks away from Lightfall, they're going to do a big strand breakdown. Even if they've been, you know, secretive about some things in the past and some of the 3.0 updates, they are definitely going to give us a detailed breakdown of strands before Lightfall launches for sure. So, you know, we'll remember, you know, we have the big PvE damage buff for primaries, which that sidearm is. So that could be good for mob clearing, or I don't know. It's always tough to give up your exotic slot for a primary, depending on what it is, but we'll see. Deterministic Chaos. Some people have speculated this is the raid exotic. I feel like sometimes they show the raid exotic, sometimes they don't. My guess is they haven't shown it yet, but we'll see. This is kind of a weird one. I don't know how I feel about this one, so we'll watch and see what it does here. Rhythmic debuffs. The fourth shot weakens enemies, and then the 16th shot makes enemies volatile. And like this is based on like musical patterns. Like I don't know enough about music, but I know like 4th beat, 16th beat, that's like a thing in music. So I think that's what they're going for here. Destiny the Meme was making all these jokes about like losing track of counting your shots and like trying to figure out when each, you know, debuff is going to drop. I feel like you're not actually supposed to count your shots. It's a machine gun, so I think you're going to just shoot it, and then the debuffs will happen. I'm a little unsure of how I feel about, you know, 16th round giving volatile rounds. Is it just one shot that makes like whatever enemy you're on for the 16th shot, that one enemy is volatile? That seems a little odd. It especially seems very odd in the sense that, you know, any Void 3.0 build can get volatile rounds on a Void weapon, you know, with Titan and Warlock with just grenade kills, and with Hunter for Gyrfalcon. So like, how is, I get one of the shots weakens, but this doesn't quite seem all that wild to me, based on like giving individual bullets effects out of an entire machine gun clip. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So I guess we'll see how it goes. Then we have, oh, by the way, this is Nameless Midnight is returning. I love all these like crazy fancy weapons they have, and like, oh, here's the return of the Sunset Nameless Midnight, which I know at least a handful of people are excited about. That is not the feature. The feature here is, boy, it took me like 6 tries to spell this for an article. Cytarkrine. Cytarkrine facade. Okay, someone else can tell me how to pronounce that. Grapple gives Woven Mail. Woven Mail appears to be a defensive effect of Strand. I assume it will be part of the Strand subclass, and you will be able to get it in other ways than just this exotic, I'm assuming. Something like a Void Overshield. The idea here appears to be it's something that gives you flinch resistance. I don't know if that's all it gives you, because that seems like that is pretty much just useful in PvP, because flinch resistance is not that much of a thing in PvE. We don't know if, there are other synergies with Woven Mail. So, like, in Void 3.0, if you get an Overshield, like, some of the aspects or fragments will be like, oh, well, you have an Overshield, you have increased melee damage or something. So maybe there are things for Woven Mail like that. So this would be a way to instantly get Woven Mail whenever you want to grapple. So that could be useful, outside of just sniping in PvP here. So I guess we'll find out. Kind of an ugly helmet, but guess we'll see. All right, this is the Titan one. Abeyance Leap. All these weird words I have to Google. Barricade spawns additional lashes. We can see what that looks like here. So lashes are ground-based projectiles that loft and suspend enemies like this. We've seen this effect previously in other trailers, but we didn't really know how that was caused, so that appears to be caused by something like a lash. Okay, so it says additional lashes. So I believe there will be some sort of Titan barricade and strand that spawns one lash by itself. That might be, like the Arc 3.0 is the jet boost instead of the thing. Like maybe here there's a barricade that just automatically spawns a lash. That might be a thing. It's always, Titans have so few, like, we still have Heart of Immol's Light, which as of now has not gotten a nerf. So like it's going to be hard to pick something like this over that, maybe, unless this is like just incredible. Titans also just got a nerf to barricade cooldown, so that is a nerf to this thing that's not even out yet. Not ideal, but I guess we'll see how it works in practice. Eevee is now chewing a horn, which is always great for sound effects. Okay, so Quicksilver Storm. Obviously, we have this weapon already if you pre-ordered Lightfall, but this is talking about the catalyst where grenades create tangles on kills, and tangles is some sort of new strand thing that seems like a mix of like stasis shards and warmind cells is the impression I'm getting here. Also, this is Quicksilver Storm is kinetic right now, but like if it is something that creates strand stuff, I wonder if this will be converted to become a strand weapon once Lightfall launches. So you can see what a tangle is here. This will do a little shooty thing. Okay, so a tangle is this. It's like it's like a strand orb, and then you throw it and it blows things up. So that to me, between this and then something else in a minute here, this is like, we have the orbs from what's the trace rifle? You know what I'm talking about. The trace rifle that generates orbs that you can pick up and then slam. Here, this is an orb you can toss. I don't know what the tangle does. Like, I don't know if it's just straight damage, like this is just an orb that damaged something, or if it's some sort of effect if you don't kill an enemy, like maybe it tangles an enemy and they're slowed, or maybe they're suspended like we saw. I'm not sure, but this is just a basic Cabal, so he's going to die no matter what. I also wonder if... Okay, so I'm just going to keep going because there's one more... Okay, Swarmers. So destroying tangles spawns threadlings. Okay, so there's a tangle sitting there, and then once it was destroyed, it spawns these little aphid things that go after enemies. So not only can you pick up and throw a tangle, apparently you can just shoot it, and that will create some sort of effect. So hence the Warmind Cell thing. I am very curious, like how... So obviously this is going to be something that is integrated into the aspects and fragments of the class too. So there will be... This to me seems like kind of... something about like stasis shattering, like that kind of effect. Like tangles will be a kind of a key part of the strand kit, and so like we just saw that gun creates a tangle. I'm assuming there are effects that are in the aspects and fragments that happen when you throw tangles or destroy tangles or whatever, and then this one with a tangle already generated, like you could synergize this with Quicksilver Storm with the catalyst, where you create a tangle and then destroy it for this effect on the Warlock boots. These little aphids, this is why this class is called the Brood Swarmer now. I think that's what it's called. The idea that the Warlock gets to summon a little army of Strand beings to go and kill enemies, which is kind of adorable. Here we have one of the most interesting, iconic looking weapons here. Winterbite, a stasis glaive. At long last, finally a glaive in the stasis spot, with the cost of it being exotic. So this freezes enemies with a frost orb. Two effects here. We can see it's a turret, so it's like a little. It's not the exact turret from Warlocks. It looks more like an arc buddy almost. And then you can also just hit enemies, I think, with the stasis freeze. Ben Platnick, who's a designer at Bungie, I guess he worked a lot on this, and he was posting about it, and I asked him, like, is this going to be a charge it up, hold to reload glaive like the other exotic glaives? Because, like, I hate those exotic glaives just because of that mechanic. Like, it just feels so cumbersome, and I never use those glaives, even after some of them got buffed. I haven't even crafted the Warlock glaive. Like, there's no point in doing that. Ben said, I am something like, I am eager for you to find out, or I can't wait for you to find out. So that applies to me. Maybe that this is not going to be the stupidly cumbersome mechanic of like getting charges by hitting shots and then holding reload and then the next shot will shoot a freezing orb. Like that is how the current ones work. I'm hoping that changes, hoping the old ones change too. And it's just some more streamlined system like, okay, if you're charged all the way up, your next shot is a freezing orb. No need to hold to reload and have it be that clunky. I don't know, something much easier than the way it works now, because the exotic glaives they have already I hate them. They're so cumbersome. Okay, so I think that was all the exotics. Also in the same day, they released like all of the looks at the Neomuna weapons, which are indeed all reskinned Shadowkeep moon weapons. Just they're all purple and glowy, and they're not not covered in feathers and stuff. It's not like ideal. Like I don't love it, but I don't know. I can only get so mad about it. Plus, I believe at least they will be all different archetypes. Like, you're not just going to... Obviously, all new perks. Much different archetypes. I think there's a heavy waveframe launcher. I think that is the grenade launcher there, I believe. And then we've seen a couple glimpses of other weapons that are not in the style that I think could be seasonal. I'm not sure, but that's like in the cover art for Lightfall. And then we got more of a look at the... I forget what the Dark Legion. I don't remember what they're called, but they have cool tanks. There are more enemies than just legionaries. Like pretty much, it's like all Cabal units. I think have been reskinned in this format. We don't know all their different abilities and stuff yet. What is that? Is that the machine gun? I think that's the machine gun. There was something. I don't remember where it was, but they showed the Vex. Oh yeah, these are the other weapons, or at least this one is, that they haven't shown. We don't know what this is. Someone was like, "Is this the raid exotic?" I'm like, "There's no way this would be the raid exotic." They just like put in the cover art here, but some point here, I don't even know where it is, but they show a Vex unit that looks like it looks either new or like a really really heavy modified. What are they called? Not the Harpies, the big spinny ones, Hydras. It looks like a modified Hydra. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere in there. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all this. I think a lot of it depends on how these kind of feel in practice. I did see Salty Greppo's tweet he was like, I'm underwhelmed, and everyone's like, you're always complaining, and I don't know. I understand what he's saying. Nothing here is like jumping out at me as like crazy wild, other than maybe the Stasis Glaive, assuming the Stasis Glaive does not work the way the existing glaives do. I think I'm more interested to learn about the strand mechanics that are shown off here, and I think we can't really get a full sense of how good these will feel or how interesting they are until we both are using them and know more about strand as a class and like what that feedback loop kind of looks like. So that's kind of my initial thoughts here. We are bound to be getting a lot more information dumped the next few weeks here. Literally, something could be happening today because they've been doing these big Wednesday blogs. If so, maybe I'll do a second video if I have time, or just get to that tomorrow. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.